So welcome back. I hope everyone enjoyed their lunch and we don't all fall asleep now as we settle into stillness. Right. Thank you all for coming here to Tibetan Norbuling in Zoomland too. So it's nice to see you all. It might be useful to really talk a little bit about the foundation of this. You know, why do we bother? Why do we bother? And we say we're trapped in the cycle of samsara. Samsara. So we're trapped at the mercy of ignorance, forced to cycle through birth, aging, sickness, and death. If we can at least offer a hypothesis that it's possible that the mind is a continuum that has no beginning and no end. So it stands to reason that if that's true, and we do just for a moment to think about that, then in a previous life, someone was my mother. If I think about my mother in this life, how kind she was. And, I often wish that I would have been of more help to her. But I was very self-absorbed, as we mostly are as young people. So in a way, this is to be able to meditate and think about the kindness of mothers helps us to think about the fact that we are interdependent with all that goes on around us. We can't survive without other beings. Someone took care of us when we were children. And if we just think about the food we eat, the place we live, the cars we drive, where we have received our education, all due to the kindness of other beings. Oh, yes, people might say, oh, yes, but that's their job. That's their job. But nonetheless, we're fortunate that they accepted to do that job because, somebody planted the food and somebody harvested it and somebody put it in a truck and somebody drove that truck and some grocer purchased those groceries and a clerk sold it to us and somebody cooked it and I ate it. That's not to even mention the number of beings who gave their lives for what we ate. I can remember having someone talk about hunting and shooting a deer, and I was just devastated. I just thought about Bambi. And we have a lot of deer where I live. And then I thought, yeah, okay, but thousands die for my bowl of rice. Worms and bugs. And so let's not be too sanctimonious about it. But it is true to be able to think about the fact that other beings are responsible for my very existence. Then there's a question about how can I repay their kindness? How could I do that? What would be the best way to repay their kindness? Certainly, I can be kind in the moment and offer help wherever I can, and I can open doors for people, and I can offer people money on the street and that sort of offering. But this is sort of temporary help in the moment. But if I was really to help them have everlasting happiness, Wouldn't that be divine? Because happiness is in the mind. So cultivating my own happiness, cultivating the understanding of enlightenment. Enlightenment. What's enlightenment? We say, may I become enlightened in order to benefit every living being. What does that mean? For years, I wondered. I know I didn't even wonder. I just said it. May I be enlightened in order to liberate every living being. And then I think maybe it was probably 20 years ago. I've been a student of Tibetan Buddhism for almost 50 years. It's amazing, really, if I think about it. But I said that. May I attain enlightenment in order to liberate every single living being. But Geshe Loden, in his Path to Enlightenment, the graduated Path to Enlightenment, which is a step by step by step by step path to reach enlightenment. And I wish I could share this screen, but because I have a drawing. At any rate, Geshe Loden said that an enlightened mind is a mind that is filled with the greatest, most far-reaching love, completely free of ignorant hatred, ignorant attachment, and ignorance itself. It's fused with wisdom and compassion. It's an unstoppable wellspring of happiness, peace, and contentment, with no limitations to creating beneficial circumstances, creating under the influence of that joy. Boundless joy, a wellspring of happiness, filled with love, compassion, and wisdom. It's a state of mind. It's not a place. It's a mind that has those qualities. The word Buddha comes from the root is Bud, which means awake, awakened. And so he was known as the awakened one, awake to how reality exists. And what is it that keeps us from having this fundamental mind that's filled with love and compassion and wisdom? What stops that? What do you think? Why are we not always in a state of loving? Attachment. Yes. Yes. Yeah. Attachment. That's one side of the coin. I want it, I want it, I want it, I want it, I want it. What about the other one? I don't want it, I don't want it, I don't want it. Aversion and attachment. Those are the main afflictions that arise from the fundamental root of this cycle, the fundamental cause, which is attachment. But it's attachment to what? That would be attachment, wanting, 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 wanting. What do you want? Who wants? There you go. The concrete, inherently existent I. Yes. So we do believe. We believe that one, and we follow her around like a bull with a ring in her nose. It doesn't really quite make sense, does it? Yeah. So this identity that I have, this identity is empty of any abiding, self-sustaining essence. If I look for the one that I label Elaine, if I look for her, this I, my own Oz that's pulling the strings and under control, uh, she can't be found. So if there is a truly existent one who is in control, then she must be findable. But if I look, I can't find her, and therefore we say she is empty of that inherent self-sustaining existence, essence, an essence. There's something. So we do a meditation. Let's try. Let's do that. I think that's a very good idea. So please settle into your meditation seat, comfortable, filled with gratitude for the opportunity. How wonderful. To just be able to ingather my attention. Nothing to do, nothing to undo, nothing to force, nothing to want, and nothing missing. Just this momentary present awareness. That's all. Without grasping onto any object of awareness, simply aware. In the scene, just see it. In the herd, just hear it. In the felt sense, just feel it. And in the mentally cognized, just the thought, without commentary. Does it feel like there's a real person here? When I say a real person, to what do I refer? Buddha told his followers that you must investigate. You must explore. You must analyze how the mind fabricates its experience of the world until you have no doubt in your heart. So we might ask, who will investigate? I will. It is true that I am sitting and I have a body and I have a mind. But somehow it feels like there's something else. Is it true? Something that's more important than just the body and mind. Is it just an idea? Or does it feel like there's really somebody home who's doing the meditating and the sitting and the walking and the eating and the thinking? If I truly exist as an abiding, self-sufficient essence, I must be findable. I am either in the body, in the mind, or outside, or a combination. If I exist in the body, where? Think about it. Is there an abiding, self-sustaining essence that can be labeled me in some part of the body that perhaps hasn't been discovered by science yet? Somewhere in the brain or the heart? Is that logically true? Even conventionally, the conventional wisdom is if you go to visit someone who's terminally ill and you knock on the door and you go in and you're taken to the room where your friend is, and the nurse says he's gone. Oh, it was not his body, because his body is here. So then perhaps we could say, not the body, the I, this essence, self-sufficient, inherently, permanently, partlessly existent, is in the mind. Makes complete sense. Does it? Is there any aspect of the mind that is unchanging? Which of the many aspects of mind, the many feelings, the emotions, the personality, the mood, which one of those am I? Am I a multiple? Do I have a multiple complex? No, I feel that there's one overarching entity that holds it all. And yet, could she be outside the body and the mind? Does it make any sense at all? When we get right down to it, we find that we are empty of such an I, that we exist conventionally by mere name, on the parts and labels. And yet we hold so strongly to our identity. I'm this, I'm that. Think about your life. If someone asked you 10 years ago, who are you? How would you respond? We have many hats. What if you go back 20 years? We have different bodies growing and changing. And we have different attitudes and personalities and moods. And today, we can say we're different than the one 10 years ago. Where's the one that is unchanging? She doesn't exist. And yet I defend her. And if there's no permanent, heartless, abiding, self-sustaining I, It's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. I'm empty of existing like that, and yet I can still be an agent of kindness. And the mind is ever changing. And what arises in the mind, so well described by William James, that to which we attend in the moment becomes our reality. And science proves that out with neuroplasticity. The fact that you hold a thought for 20 seconds and it either creates a new neural pathway or deepens one that already exists. It's quite amazing. Habituation and familiarization. Buddha talked about it 2,500 years ago or more. So, good. Now we all know. There's nobody here, right? What do you think? Hmm? It's okay? You're smiling, Daniel. What do you think? Did you find Daniel?
No, but I mean, as the observer, I guess, as the awareness.
There was awareness, but you didn't find a solid, heartless, self existent, something that you could call Daniel. Mm. How about you, Zoe? What do you think?
I have awareness having as a
Oh, I'm awareness having a Zoe experience. I like that. Which really indicates that the I is always changing because Zoe's experience is always changing. Is that right?
not so not beautiful about
But awareness is always there. Okay. Anybody else? And right. So it's less it's less frightening when you see that your friend who has passed is not in that body. But to think about yourself not in this body is a little scary. Mhm, mhm. Discombobulating. Yes, yes. Like, where am I? You know, digging, digging. Come on, Lou. What do you think? Uh-huh. Lou was unable to find the share screen, so there's no hope he could find himself. That's brilliant. Yes, yes. Yes, if you think about it, not feeling like you are, we put this persona on. And if we step outside of that, if we're behaving in a way that doesn't fit the box, then that's like, oh, people look askance. But we're always putting other people in their box. We see an I there, someone out there who looks like this, and therefore they are like this, and they are inherently like this. Because of their outer appearance, we judge. And then we maybe criticize, don't want, or we like very much, and we would like to have some more. And this is that outer wanting, that outer grasping. So there's a freedom in not having to protect oneself, right? Not having to be that way. I don't have to dress like that. But I will, because I have a persona. I always come looking for Charlene to see what she has on today. If she doesn't dress like that, I'm going to wonder. It's interesting. We have these personas that we protect, and we're embarrassed if we aren't showing the right way. But if we don't have to worry about that, and we're just an agent of kindness, looking, how can I help you? It's a whole new world. There's much less angst about trying to put on a good face, having to be a certain way, or I'll be judged. Who's going to be judged? There's nobody home. Isn't that nice? Yeah, yeah, it's really quite fascinating, And when we see, that there's no real person in there. Wow. It really is freedom, because you can arise, you can be anything. This is the multitude of ways that emptiness can manifest. So there's great freedom in that. And still, we follow the conventions. A convention is something we agree on. Conventional reality. We agree. Mama Yeshe used to take one of these. Bless his heart, he would take a flower. He would say, this? This is what? It's a flower. We call it a flower, yes? And this? It's a stem. So for us, we have this label based on our conventional reality. We have certain labels that we put on parts that put together in a certain way. But for others, they don't call it flower. Different languages will be labeling it something different, and we want to understand what that is. So it's for us to realize that we are placing a label on ever-changing parts. But the actual part is empty of existing in the way that we believe it is. For instance, this is my water bottle. So it's just a water bottle, really, But I label it mine. I thought it had my name on it. I might lose it if I don't put my name on it. But if this was given to me by my grandmother, then it becomes very special because my grandmother gave it to me. And then really don't want to lose it because I've imbued it with an extra quality. And this happens time and time and time again. Things that we have in our homes that are very expensive, we cherish and we wouldn't want it to break. And we grasp onto that. We hold that. And when it breaks, really shouldn't be an if, because all compounded phenomena are impermanent. And so am I. And the seventh Dalai Lama says, the samsaric being fills with frustration on watching their creations continually fade. And this is what happens to us because we believe we are solidly existent and the things that we create are solidly existent. And we certainly want everyone to like what we create. And if they don't like what we create, then is there something wrong with me or is there something wrong with them? Now, really, we have to check up, Lama said. Check up. How we grasp onto our conventional reality. I can't remember the Lama, but it was in a book on Mahamudra. And he said, mere luminous awareness of this present moment is the actual face of conventional reality. Understanding the very fact that it is unfabricated. Ultimate reality is not other than this. Okay? Seeing with awareness. That the actual face of this present moment. So being completely aware that this present moment is unfabricated. So not made. This is the face of conventional reality. Seeing with awareness. Anyway, it's complicated, but it's really the fact that everything that appears is just an appearance. This we have to cook. It's just an appearance. Niels Bohr, the atomic physicist, in his book, Atomic Theory and the Nature of Reality. I was fascinated by the title, and my partner was reading it. So I read over his shoulder, and I read this sentence. And he said, all new experiences make their appearance within the frame of one's own perception and point of view. One's own point of view and perception. Everything we experience appears to us within our perception and point of view. This is very interesting if you think about it, because none of us, even though we gravitate toward each other to convince ourselves that our view is right, because we have similar ideas about reality, still we don't have the same view. That's why when there's an accident, they take a statement from everybody. They get 10 people give 10 different statements because what we see is different. And if I understand that, then when you're behaving differently than I would behave in the same circumstance, I'm free to do something other than criticize or judge. So these are attitudes and ideas to cultivate. So that we do cultivate what will produce happiness and eliminate suffering. Sangye. We say Sangye Chodang Soki Chognam La. You know that one? Okay. Then Sangye. Sangye. Purified and perfected. So the one that is purified and perfected. Purified of what? There you go. All negativities and delusions. Okay, all mental afflictions. I'm going to try something. I have to be in Zoom. I'm just going to try. Did I do it? Does it exist? But what does it look like? How can I get it to be just big? I must be able to get it big, huh? Not really. Can you see it? You see what it is even? Oh, Lou, why can't I get it to go big? Oh, let's see. How do you see that? Because I don't see it. Oh, I love that. Thank you. There, yay. Oh, fiddle. Oh, fiddle dee dee. There. That's what I want to see. All right, so purified. Those are the 6 root delusions. And the one in the middle, ignorance, is the whole root of it all. Right? So this is my depiction of the game of life, the bodhisattva's game. So on the field, you have the perfections. And seated on the bench, you have the delusions. And don't play these guys. So this is what a Buddha has purified. What does it mean to have purified it? And how do we do it? If I think about it, the mind is empty, spacious, and pure, luminous awareness. Within the mind, positive and negative, meaning those that produce happiness and those that produce suffering, arise. So those that produce suffering are these things to purify: our attachment. I want, and I want a little bit more, even when I have it, and a little bit better and a little bit different. Not satisfied. Or I don't want, and I don't want it now, and I don't want it tomorrow. I don't want to see it again. And both of those we exaggerate. This is true of it's true of all of our delusions, is that we exaggerate their positive if we want them, and we exaggerate their negative if we don't want them. We don't pay any attention when somebody says, you know what, that one is probably not for you because of this, this, and this, and this. Oh, but, it's a la, 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 la. And we don't want to hear it. We don't want to hear what we don't want to hear. So we purify these states of mind that cause us to act, because when we're under the control of those to purify, those delusions to purify, we don't make the best choices. So how do we stop ourselves from being under the influence of those. This is really the crux of the matter. If there's nobody home, and we know that all 6 of these are problems, then why would we open the door and let them in? We have a way of choosing to entertain them, to serve them tea or not. To recognize that they arise, it's not like you say, oh, no, I'm not going to think about that. No, that's not part of me. It's not like that. We accept, okay, this arose, this is here, and I see myself being really irritated. But is it going to be appropriate and the best thing I can do to follow that irritation and speak rudely back to the one that spoke to me? Or what will that bring? Now, we really have to, if we want to be happy, we have to eliminate those 6 because they get us in trouble. And the way to do it is to perfect the perfections, the 6 perfections. To recognize, and wisdom, the final one, is recognizing that it's the objects of our attachment and aversion are empty of any inherent nature. This is, it's deep stuff. We dig down to the bottom of it, and we almost never get the bottom because it just keeps getting more and more and more information, more and more and more. So, all right. So, does that make sense? You have questions about that? Any doubts? Affirmations, experiences you've had that prove it out?
I think what you said about all those things are like their exercise about the us having no current existence, so the things that we either desire or don't like the invitation is, well, what is that? Right? Like what
Exactly. Brilliant. Brilliant. Not only am I empty of inherent existence, but so is all phenomena. Everything I can think of is also empty for the same reason, because it arises through concepts and thoughts, but doesn't inherently exist in the way that we believe that it does. So this is freedom. Shantideva said, the mind that sees the emptiness of the mind is freedom, nirvana. Oh, I think we get some glimpses from time to time. Yeah. So, maybe I'll master PowerPoint sometime, but I haven't mastered it just yet. So I think recognizing that eliminating this self-cherishing. Lama Zopa Rinpoche had bumper stickers made maybe 20 years ago that said, happiness starts when you begin to cherish others. So put this on your bumper. And he also had one that said, no anger equals no enemies. So if we realize that eliminating self-cherishing and transforming that into cherishing others as the cause of happiness, then we can do practices that will emphasize that will emphasize giving over ourself to others, helping others be happy. We can have our antenna up when we go out, looking for ways to help others. Always looking if there's somebody behind you when you go through the door to see if you can hold it open for them, or hurrying up ahead of the one that's coming and opening the door for them. That's a very simple practice to be cultivating your kindness, however we can do. So maybe we could do a brief meditation on that sort of thing. So please take your seat again, once again, remembering our intention to wake up, become a fully awakened one with all the qualities of a Buddha, purified and perfected, in order to be of lasting value to every living being. Just that wish causes the whole sky to open up with numberless Buddhists. They're so happy. Just imagine that. Could be just light. And having this wish then, may I be of benefit to every living being who is more precious than a wish-granting jewel. May I repay their kindness over and over and over again. For upon sentient beings, my own enlightenment depends. Please bless me to be able to do this. And then imagine that all of these Buddhas, so many, merge into one. And they come to our crown and they descend to our heart and they merge with our own mind, which takes the aspect of a beautiful sphere of light whose nature is love. This longing for the beloved to have happiness and all of its causes, and great compassion, the longing for them to also be free of suffering and all of its causes. And taking the universal responsibility to help them accomplish this is the Bodhisattva's attitude. And it is from Bodhisattvas that Buddhas are born. Understanding this and holding also in my mind the truth that no thing has any inherent existence. As I breathe in, I notice that the light of love is energized. And as I breathe out, it's expanding and filling my body. And I think, may I be well and happy. May I actualize my full potential. And let the love fill you up, the wisdom, the joy, the compassion. And think, I long to help others. So bring to your mind those in your life now who may be unwell or maybe have passed away. We can think particularly of Michael Carlton and anyone who's experiencing anxiety, depression. Personally, that you know. And as you breathe in, remove all of the suffering causes of their illness, their passing, and let it come into your heart. Take it away and let it dissolve there and energize your love. Thinking, may you be well and happy. May you actualize your full potential and let the light go out and give them everything they need to be at ease. See it being received. We'll take just a few moments to look into the face of each one. May you be well and happy. May you actualize your full potential. Now turn your attention to the fires in Los Angeles. Take away all the causes of the pain that ensues. May you be well and happy. And may you actualize your full potential. And think of the places where there is so much war. Oh my, so many places to call to mind. How does it arise? From mental affliction. From greed, hatred, ignorance, pride, jealousy, grasping, grasping, grasping. May you be well and happy. May the wars all finish, and may you actualize your full potential. Take a moment to go to all the places that you know of. See the suffering that ensues from the activation of these mental afflictions. Breathe in and remove all the causes. Let it grow your love. . and breathe out and see a positive change. Go to all the heads of state. Remove their ignorance. And let them rule by enlightened politics. Take away their ignorance. Charge your love. And give them wisdom. Recognize that every single one of them is just like me, wanting happiness and not wanting suffering. Each one has joys and sorrows. Each one, fundamentally, at their very core, has Buddha nature. It's so vastly obscured. Remove the clouds and bring clarity. May you be well and happy. May you actualize your full potential. All those who are affected by climate change, natural disasters, diseases, all the things that bring suffering, famine. Remove the causes. And give them what they need from your heart. May you all be well and happy. May you actualize your full potential. Then send the light out. Let it go all around the world. May everyone be well and happy. May everyone actualize their full potential. And bringing the light back, dissolving all our conceptual reality. Dissolving the room. Coming into the body, dissolving the body. Just a small sphere of light at the heart, which gets smaller and smaller and smaller until we rest there in pure, luminous awareness. It is empty, with no inherent quality. And this gives rise to myself. By mere thought within awakened awareness, I arise in human form to dispel the misery of the world. And I think, Sheila, you have the next slide available to you. Yes? The Bodhisattva's tree, which is after mm, the medicine Buddha. I don't mean medicine Buddha, the Shakyamuni Buddha prayer we did this morning, the slide at the end of that. It's in the Guru Shakyamuni Buddha practice. Yes. Yes, this one. So, in the warm soil of kindness, we cultivate love. And love is born from kindness. Compassion is born from love. The supreme intention is born from compassion. Bodhicitta is born from a supreme intention. That supreme intention is the intention to attain enlightenment and to free all beings. And bodhisattvas are born from bodhicitta, this awakened heart mind. And Buddhas are born from bodhisattvas. So we cultivate kindness. We begin there, cultivating kindness. And then there is the King of Prayers, and I think we have time to recite the King of Prayers. It's really kind of a very beautiful practice from Samantabhadra. So we'll recite the King of Prayers. Whoops. Cancel that. You never know what's going to happen. All right. I bow down to the youthful Arya Manjushri, you lions among humans, gone to freedom in the present, past, and future, in the worlds of 10 directions, to all of you with body, speech, and sincere mind, I bow down. With the energy of aspiration for the Bodhisattva way, with a sense of deep respect, and with as many bottoms as atoms of the world, to all you Buddhas visualized as real, I bow down. On every atom are Buddhas, numberless as atoms, each amidst a host of bodhisattvas. And I am confident the sphere of all phenomena is entirely filled with Buddhas in this way. With infinite oceans of praise for you and oceans of sound from the aspects of my voice, I sing the breathtaking excellence of Buddhas and celebrate all of you gone to bliss. Beautiful flowers and regal garlands, sweet music, scented oils and parasols, sparkling lights and sublime incense, I offer to you, victorious ones. Fine dress and fragrant perfumes, sandalwood powder heaped high as Mount Meru, all wondrous offerings in spectacular array, I offer to you, victorious ones, with transcendent offerings peerless and vast, with profound admiration for all the Buddhists, with strength of conviction in the Bodhisattva way, I offer and bow down to all victorious ones. Every harmful action I have done with my body, speech, and mind, overwhelmed by attachment, anger, and confusion, openly all these I openly lay bare before you. I lift up my heart and rejoice in all positive potential of the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas in 10 directions, of solitary realizers, hearers still in training, and those beyond, and of all ordinary beings. You who are the bright lights of worlds in 10 directions, who have attained the Buddha's omniscience through the stages of awakening, all you who are my guides, please turn the supreme wheel of Dharma. With palms together, I earnestly request, you who may actualize paranirvana, please stay with us for eons numberless as atoms of the world, for the happiness and well-being of all wanderers in samsara. Whatever slight positive potential I may have created, by paying homage, offering and acknowledging my faults, rejoicing and requesting that the Buddhas stay and teach, I now dedicate all this for full awakening. May you Buddhas now living in the worlds of 10 directions, may all you gone to freedom in the past accept my offerings. May those not yet arisen quickly perfect their minds, awakening as fully enlightened ones. May all worlds in 10 directions be entirely pure and vast. May they be filled with bodhisattvas surrounding Buddhas gathered beneath a Bodhi tree. May as many beings as exist in 10 directions be always well and happy. May all samsaric beings live in accord with the Dharma, and may their every Dharma wish be fulfilled. Remembering my past lives in all varieties of existence, may I practice the Bodhisattva way, and thus in each cycle of death, migration, and birth, may I always abandon the householder's life, then following in the footsteps of all the Buddhas and perfecting the practice of a Bodhisattva, may I always act without error or compromise, with ethical discipline, faultless and pure. May I teach the Dharma in the language of the gods, in every language of spirits and nagas, of humans and of demons, and in the voice of every form of being. May I be gentle-minded, cultivating the 6 paramitas, and never forget bodhicitta. May I completely cleanse without omission every negativity and all that obscures this awakening mind. May I traverse all my lives in the world free of karma and afflictions and interfering forces, just as the lotus blossom is undisturbed by the water's wave, just as the sun and moon move unhindered through the sky. May I ease the suffering in the lower realms and in the many directions and dimensions of the universe. May I guide all wanderers in samsara to the pure bliss of awakening, and be of worldly benefit to them as well. May I practice constantly for eons to come, perfecting the activities of awakening, acting in harmony with the various dispositions of beings, showing the ways of a bodhisattva. May I always have the friendship of those whose path is like mine, and with body, words, and also mind, may we practice together the same aspirations and activities. May I always meet a spiritual mentor and never displease that excellent friend who deeply wishes to help me and expertly teaches the Bodhisattva way. May I always directly see the Buddhas, masters encircled by Bodhisattvas, and without pause or discouragement for eons to come, may I make extensive offerings to them. May I hold within me the Buddha's genuine Dharma, illuminate everywhere the teachings that awaken, embody the realizations of a bodhisattva, and practice ardently in all future eons. While circling through all states of existence, may I become an endless treasure of good qualities, skillful means, wisdom, samadhi, with liberating stabilizations, gathering limitless, pristine wisdom and positive potential. On one atom, I shall see Buddha fields numberless as atoms, inconceivable Buddhas among bodhisattvas in every field, practicing the activities of awakening. Perceiving this in all directions, I dive into an ocean of Buddha fields, each an ocean of 3 times Buddhas in the space of a wisp of a hair. So I too will practice for an ocean of eons. Thus, I am continually immersed in the speech of the Buddhas, expression that reveals an ocean of qualities in one word, the completely pure eloquence of all the Buddhas, communication suited to the varied tendencies of beings. With strength of understanding, I plunge into the infinite enlightened speech of the Dharma, of all Buddhas in 3 times gone to freedom, who continually turn the wheel of Dharma methods. I shall experience in one moment such vast activity of all future eons, and I will enter into all eons of the 3 times in but a fraction of a second. In one instant, I shall see all those awakened beings, past, present, and future lions among humans, and with the power of the illusion-like stabilization, I will constantly engage in their inconceivable activity. I shall manifest upon one single atom the array of pure lands, present, past, and future. Likewise, I shall enter the array of pure Buddha fields in every direction without exception. I shall enter the very presence of all my guides, those lights of this world who are yet to appear, those sequentially turning the wheels of complete awakening, those who reveal nirvana, final, perfect peace. May I achieve the power of swift, magical emanation, the power to lead to the great vehicle through every approach, the power of always beneficial activity, the power of love pervading all realms, the power of all surpassing positive potential, the power of supreme knowledge unobstructed by discrimination, and through the powers of wisdom, skillful means, and samadhi, may I achieve the perfect power of awakening, purifying the power of all contaminated actions, crushing the power of disturbing emotions at their root, diffusing the power of interfering forces. I shall perfect the power of the Bodhisattva practice. May I purify an ocean of worlds. May I free an ocean of beings. May I clearly see an ocean of Dharma. May I realize an ocean of pristine wisdom. May I purify an ocean of activities. May I fulfill an ocean of aspirations. May I make offerings to an ocean of Buddhas. May I practice without discouragement for an ocean of eons. To awaken fully through this bodhisattva way, I shall fulfill without exception all the diverse aspirations of the awakening practice, of all Buddhas gone to freedom in the 3 times. In order to practice exactly as the wise one called Samantabhadra, all-embracing good, the elder brother of the sons and daughters of the Buddhas, I completely dedicate all this goodness. Likewise, may I dedicate, just as the skillful Samantabhadra, with pure body, speech, and mind, pure actions, and pure Buddha fields. I shall give rise to the aspirations of Manjushri for this bodhisattva practice of all embracing good, to perfect these practices without discouragement or pause in all future eons. May my pure activities be endless, my good qualities boundless, and through abiding in immeasurable activity, may I actualize infinite emanations. Limitless is the end of space. Likewise, limitless are living beings. Thus, limitless are karma and afflictions. May my aspirations reach be limitless as well. One may offer to the Buddhas all wealth and adornments of infinite worlds in 10 directions. And one may offer during eons numberless as atoms of the world, even the greatest happiness of gods and humans. But whoever hears this extraordinary aspiration and longing for awakening gives rise to faith just once, creates far more precious positive potential. Those who make this heartfelt aspiration for the Bodhisattva way will be free of all lower rebirths, free of harmful companions, and will quickly see Amitabha, infinite light. And even in this very human life, they will be nourished by happiness and have all conducive circumstances. Without waiting long, they will become like Samantabhadra himself. Those who give voice to this extraordinary aspiration will quickly and completely purify the 5 boundless harmful actions created under the power of ignorance. Blessed with supreme knowledge, excellent body, family, attributes, and appearance, they will be invincible to vast interfering forces and misleading teachers, and all the 3 worlds will make offerings. Going quickly to the noble Bodhi tree and sitting there to benefit sentient beings, subduing all interfering forces, they will fully awaken and turn the great wheel of Dharma. Have no doubt that complete awakening is the fully ripened result, comprehended only by a Buddha, of holding in mind by teaching, reading, or reciting this aspiration of the Bodhisattva practice, in order to train just like the hero Manjushri, who knows reality as it is, and just like Samantabhadra as well. I completely dedicate all this goodness just as they did. With that dedication which is praised as greatest by all the Buddhas gone to freedom in the 3 times, I too dedicate all my roots of goodness for the attainment of the Bodhisattva practice. Born from an extremely beautiful superlative lotus in this joyful land, the Buddha's magnificent mandala, may I receive a prediction of my awakening directly from Buddha Amitabha. Having received a prediction there, may I create vast benefit for beings throughout the 10 directions with 1 billion emanations by the power of wisdom. Though even through even the small virtue I have accumulated, by offering this prayer of the Bodhisattva practice, may all the positive aspirations of beings be fulfilled in an instant. Through creating limitless positive potential, by dedicating this prayer of Samantabhadra's deeds, may all beings drowning in this torrent of suffering enter the presence of Amitabha. Through this king of aspirations, which is the greatest of the sublime, helping infinite wanderers in samsara, through the accomplishment of this scripture, dazzling with Samantabhadra's practice, may suffering realms be utterly emptied of all beings. By merit of this virtue, may I become Buddha and lead all beings, everyone, into that enlightened state. May the precious Bodhi mind not yet born arise and grow, and may that born not decline, but increase more and more. May all beings everywhere, plagued by sufferings of body and mind, find an ocean of happiness and joy by virtue of my merit. May no living creature suffer, commit evil, or ever fall ill. May no one be afraid or belittled with a mind weighed down by depression. May the blind see forms, the deaf hear sounds. May those whose bodies are worn with toil be restored on finding repose. May the naked find clothing, the hungry find food. May the thirsty find water and delicious drinks. May the poor find wealth, those weak with sorrow find joy. May the forlorn find hope, constant happiness and prosperity. May there be timely rains and bountiful harvests. May all medicines be effective and wholesome prayers bear fruit. May all who are sick and ill quickly be freed from their ailments. Whatever diseases there are in the world, may they never occur again. May the frightened cease to be afraid, and those bound be freed. May the powerless find power, and may people think of benefiting each other. As long as space remains, as long as sentient beings remain, there too may I remain to dispel the misery of the world. In the snowy mountain paradise, you're the source of happiness and good. Powerful Tenzin Gyatso Chenrezig, please remain until samsara ends. And then we just take a moment to think about all the teachers that we have had in our life, that we've had the good fortune to meet, who have helped us along this path to awakening. And for 3 times we will chant Aryatara's long life mantra. Om Tare Tutare Guru Vayu Punye Jnana Pushtim Kuru Soha Om Tare Tutare Ture Guru Vayu Punye Jnana Pushtim Kuru Soha Om Tare Ture Guru Vayu Punye Jnana Pushtim Kurui Soha. How wonderful. Wonderful, wonderful. Thank you all. Okay. There you have it. Right. Tomorrow morning, we'll be continuing Cultivating Lasting Happiness, this Buddhist mind science class that we started last week. It's the first module in 7 modules, and this is the second class in the first module. There'll be 4 altogether this month. It's really fascinating and marvelous and wonderful, and I'm thrilled that the 2 students, very well-studied students, Hans Burkhardt and Marina Bouchette, have created this over a period of years, and they piloted it last October. It's really quite brilliant. So anyway, I'm happy. It reminds me of Lama Yeshe's wish for universal education. He longed to have the Buddha Dharma be conveyed to Westerners in a psychological, realistic way. And they've done a very good job of not diminishing the Dharma at all, but showing how science is coming along quite nicely. All right, y'all. Thank you very much for your kind attention and your practice, okay? And we'll carry on. Bye now.